Welcome back, everyone. This is Geronitis bringing you Feed the Beast Unleashed, episode 13, I do believe it is. Well, we're using up a bunch of my torches. I have set my bots out to do a run. They are doing a rather extensive run this time. It's been running for a little while, and they'll continue to run as we continue to do what I'm doing. So, I believe I've got everything figured out about my whole mob spawning, killing, generating items and stuff. So, before we go down there into that room, I'm going to need a place to store excess mob essence. Mob essence is the mob goo, the gooey stuff that we get from grinding up the mobs. Now that I've figured out how to spawn them, how to grind them, and so on, we need to go ahead and get this going. So, the first thing I'm going to want to do is make a place to store excess mob essence. That way we can use it as we want to. So, the first thing we want to do is we want to create a tank to hold mob essence. Now, my original idea was to use one of these tanks, but this tank, I don't like the way it works so much, so I'm going to do it a different way. So what I'm going to do is realize that I did something completely stupid, and, well, we'll have to figure something out. Okay, anyway, I want to make a tank. Railcraft, I believe is the name of the mod, adds tanks, and you make the tanks by making steel or iron plates. You make the plates by making a rolling machine, and that's what we're going to go ahead and craft at this point. So we're going to go ahead and make a rolling machine. I got all this stuff together now. This is the only part I actually planned for, so be prepared for a little blundering here in a minute. So we're going to take up the induction smelter because we don't really need it at the moment, and we're going to put the rolling machine in its place. The rolling machine then receives full power, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to make some steel plates. That is the way you make plates, and it makes it over here, and they're going to go ahead and be cooking up. So, why do we make steel plates? Well, we're making steel plates because we're going to make a steel tank. Alright, here we have the steel tank. We need steel tank walls, and you can see that it says there are variable sizes, and that you have to make them hollow. There's height 4, diameters 3. In this case, we're going to make a 3 by 3 by 4. So we're going to need several of those. We're going to make tank gauges so that we can actually see what's going on inside. They offer you colored options. I really don't care about colors at this point. I just need something functional. So as you can see, we actually need a lot of steel plates. So that being said, we have steel plates. So, let's see. We're going to start out by making some tank walls. And we're going to go ahead and add those in. And we're going to make... we'll make a couple more. We probably didn't need quite that many, but I'm making excess, so I'm going to cover my butt. Let me put this other stuff away real quick, because we don't need it. On me anyway. And alrighty, so the next thing we're gonna need is the tank valves. Tank valves are steel plates, iron bars, and a lever. I have a lever on me. I don't have any iron bars though, but we can take care of that real quick as well. Iron bars require iron ingots. We can make those real quick. And then we should be able to just run over here, select the tank valve, don't care about the color, and we need iron bars. So now we have iron bars. So now we can go ahead and switch back over to this, and we can make this. Now, making 8 is more than enough. We're actually only going to use 2 on the tank that we're going to be making, so we don't, that makes plenty for a while. The other thing we're going to make is the steel tank gauges. This is to fill in the corner so we can see the liquid inside it. You don't actually need any of these, but I like to put them in there so you can see what's going on. So we need some glass panes. I should have those hidden out in here. I only have 9 though. We're going to need some more of that. I should have some more glass over here, and we do. Excellent. And my inventory is getting full. Let's see. Let's toss some stuff into the auto sorter that we don't need right now. I don't actually have a space for all this stuff in the auto sorting, but when it goes back through, it'll wind up in that diamond chest down there, and then I'll be able to just sort it at my leisure. So let's see, what's the next thing we need? Now that we have the glass panes, oh, we need the iron plates, which are not over there. Alrighty, so now we can make some tank gauge. Now I can make a bunch extra of these because eventually when we get going, I'm going to have extra tanks for pretty much everything. I'm going to use a lot of these tanks, so that should be significantly more than I need, but for now, it's what I want to have. So, let's see, we want to toss extra panes of glass here. We don't need the tank because we're making a big tank. And we've got extra torches that we don't need. And we got extra glass that we don't need. Alright, so now we should be set to go on downstairs. Oh, wait. We're going to do one. Well, I'll get to that. No, we'll do it now. So, one of the other things we're going to use is ender tanks. Ender tanks are like ender chests, but they move liquids instead of items. So here we have the ender tank, which is going to require cauldrons, wool, ender pearls, obsidian, and blaze rods. Thankfully, I haven't actually used up all my blaze rods. I used a whole bunch of them generating power before, but thankfully I still should have plenty. I'm gonna need some more wool, I believe, but I can still work with what I have. That should let me make 7 tanks. That'll be good. Alrighty, we need obsidian. And we need some cauldrons, and that should be all I need. The cauldron is just iron in a U shape here. And did I put up all the iron? No, I didn't. Cool, so we can go ahead and make this. Now, we're going to make... I'm going to need 4 of these, if I'm thinking about this correctly. Which, I'm not going to say I am, but I think I might be. So, we can make 7, so yay, we'll use 7. Alrighty, so... one of the other things we're going to want to do is we're going to color these ender tanks. And I don't have the coloring stuff. We're going to leave one set blank. And do I have any other choices for colors? I wanted to use green, but I didn't actually prep any other green dye. Oh, that's not the right spot. Here we go. This should just take a second, and I'll make some green dye. And then, since the mob essence is green, I figured I'd make the stuff out of it green. The stuff that's going to transport it around green. These are just like the ender chests. You can color them to make them different from each other and therefore have a bunch of different varieties. So this should make up a couple of green dyes. There we go. Alright, so we're going to place down 2 of these. And we're going to color them white, white, green, and white, white, green. So now these 2 ender tanks are linked. Anything that's in one will also show up in the other. So now we have white, white, green, and white, white, green. And in that time, we should have more of this. And we're going to make a couple more. We're going to make these white, green, green, and white, green, green. Now, I'll explain why I'm doing it this way in just a minute when we get downstairs and get things figured out as to getting things started. Hello. Okay, I'm out of stuff again. Out of stuff. Not out of stuff. I've got too much stuff. There's a difference. Okay, I don't need that or that or that. And that was gonna... Oh, by the way, if you look... you can now see my bots have actually just filled up and have dumped their inventory. And now that stuff is going to be down here in the auto sorter, which works out nicely considering coming down here to set up our stuff anyway. So, There it goes through the auto sorter and over to its home. And I'm getting really close on redstone again. When it overflows, it'll just go ahead and fill it in here, and that's not a big deal. I'll deal with that when I need to later. So, here we are. I moved a couple of little things around and ran a couple more pipes and stuff. We have the auto spawner, which we now know works correctly. I've already thrown some stuff in to get it started. I ran around with my portal gun, and I portaled in enemies into this area so that they could get ground up and turned into mob essence to fill this up. So the grinder, when supplied power, which I still don't have a constant supply of, when you supply power to it, it grinds up the monsters, and the items they drop are ejected out the back of it, which is right here. And out the back, I had it come in, and they go up this pipe. And then at the top of this pipe, I'm putting this diamond chest so that any items that wind up coming up that pipe will be stored for me to have use of. Now, there's one other thing I'm going to do with this, but I'll get to that in a minute, assuming I don't run out of time in the episode. So, what we're going to have happen is we're going to build my tank that's going to hold my mob essence right here. Now remember, it's going to be 3 by 3 by 4, so we're going to dig into the ground by 1 right here, and we're going to go ahead and build this tank. Now, you need to have the tank walls, and you don't have to have the gauges, but I like having the gauges. And we're going to go ahead and build this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this valve in the center. That way I can pump stuff out the bottom of it when I need to. The center block on the bottom is going to store the data for what is in the tank as well. So if I were to build this tank up, fill it up, and break a piece of it, it would all disappear, but as long as I reformed it without disturbing that center block, it would still show that I had it made, and it would still show that I have stuff in it. So that would also be a very good thing if you accidentally chop into it. So we're going to go ahead and finish building this up. Whoops. That wasn't supposed to be there. Speaking of which, we're going to put the tank valve that goes into it at the top. That way we have in at the top, out at the bottom, and stop that. Okay, so that's good there, and then we fill in the rest with the gauge, which is glass, so we can see what's going on in there. And now when I place this last block, you'll watch it all form up and form a tank. See, the windows join and show there's a tank. Now when I right click on it, it says I got a steel tank with 1,152 buckets worth of storage. Okay, so now that we have that going, we're going to go ahead and deal with some more stuff down here. So, let's see. We have an access tunnel here. Okay, so they're going to be spawned there. They're going to be ground up here. And this grinder is going to spit the mob essence out. The mob essence will come along here, and it will get to this intersection. At this intersection, it should split it half and half. Half should go to one side and half should go to the other side. I don't need these tank pieces on me anymore, so I'm going to auto sort them just to get them out of my inventory for now. And I'm going to go ahead and toss that in there, and that in there, and that in there as well. So, and that in there, and that in there, and that, and that, and that. I have a lot more space now. Yay! Okay. Alright, so when the mobs get ground up, they're going to release their essence. The essence is going to split here. Now, in theory, we'll generate enough mob essence to fill that, and then the excess will go over to here. Now, I'm going to place this here. Now, if you look, I just placed it. It is the white, white, green that I placed there. So, white, white, green is going to be the fill port for my tank over here. So I'm going to put the other one, white, white, green, right there. Now, with the blue facing up, it's accepting liquids. If you right-click on that, it flips it over, and now the orange up means it's depositing liquids. So now it just dropped a tiny bit in here. I have 1 out of 1,152 mob essence in there. But that proves the fact that it actually does work. So, that's where that goes. So now, in theory, if I have this set up right, I should be able to go ahead And no. If I do that, I'm going to cause a problem. If I start it spawning with all this open space down here, it's going to spawn monsters down here, and I don't need them to spawn down here while I'm down here with them. So, assuming that we have this right so far, we're going to go ahead and block this up. I do believe that it will function correctly. If I'm wrong, well, we'll find out here in just a minute. So we're going to go ahead and fill in up to the point where I am going to be safe doing this. Let's see, we need to fill that, and that, and that, and that. I'm leaving this space open because I need to come back down here in just a little bit to get this other part functioning correctly. One of the other things is the second mob spawner. I created a second one, and it's going to be spawning the wither skeletons that you saw me gather on the last episode. So when it kills those wither skeletons, I'm going to have it pump the fluid up here, and I'm going to have it join right there, and that should then add to that as necessary and fill in the tank as necessary, so no essence will be wasted. If we're going to be killing the wither skeletons anyway, we might as well go ahead and get their stuff. So, we can fill this part in, and this part in. Now, the other thing we need to do is to create a way to keep the wither skeleton spawner full of mob essence. So that's where the secondary set of ender tanks comes in. This ender tank is going to be on the putting out way, so we'll put it orange up, and we're going to put a waterproof pipe here, and that will connect this to this. As you can see, it can take a little bit more essence. Hopefully my tank up top will be able to have enough essence to fill that so we can test this. Okay, we have 3,994, so if I set this up correctly, it should drain out, and when it drains out, it should fill up the spawner down there. So now I need to... how do I get it out of here? This is what I was talking about doing before. Normally I use liquid ducts to remove stuff from these tanks, but I'm not sure if I can. I don't have any liquid ducts on me, and I'm not sure that these are going to do as I think they will. And they don't. Okay, so that means we're going to have to do something different, something I haven't done yet. But that's okay, we can do this really quickly. I have the stuff set up for it, so we'll just go ahead and do this real quick. Now, liquid ducts, when applied a redstone signal, will automatically empty their contents. Oops, and now I gotta go right back downstairs because I left the green stuff downstairs. It went through the auto sorter because I said, I'm not gonna need this, I'll just auto sort it. Yeah, that worked out well, didn't it? No. Anyway. So the next thing we're going to need is we're going to need some wooden pipes. And because wooden pipes are the pipes that are used to remove items, or in this case, liquids, from inventories. So we're going to create the pipe waterproofing, and we're going to create a wooden waterproof pipe. Now, earlier we created autarkic gates. If you guys remember, we used those autarkic gates to make our auto sorting system function. So now we're going to go ahead and make use of some of the extras that I had in order to make this function. Okay, so now the wooden waterproof pipe will go here, and that will attach to this. Then we'll put the golden waterproof pipe here, and that's going to then attach it to the ender tank. So then we're going to hook the autarkic gate up to this, and we're going to set the signal so that if it has no redstone signal, which is true, it will energy pulse. So when it does that, as you can see, it is taking the mob essence out from the tank and putting it in down here. Now, it's not going in to fill this up until it has already filled up this spawner. And look, it worked. Okay, so in theory, we now have this to the point where it will function. Let me fill in some of the stuff down here, and before I do that, we're going to do something else that I forgot to do. I'm going to forget to do a lot of things. If you follow along with me, well, get used to it. I'm going to do it a lot. Alright, so now the reason we're going to do something else is because right now, if I were to turn everything on, everything in my system would get completely overwhelmed with slime gel. Slime gel? Slime balls. Slimy stuff. Slime balls. Okay, because I'm going to be creating a ton of slime balls because I'm using slimes to generate my mob essence. I don't really need that many slime balls. So I'm going to make it so that the system automatically deletes all the slime balls that are created. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to put a diamond pipe, and I'm going to put slime balls go down a certain direction. But down a certain direction isn't going to be very good. We need to have it so that it gets rid of the stuff that goes down that direction. And in this case, we're going to use a void transport pipe. Void transport pipe is redstone, glass, and black dye or an ink sac. And I wonder if I have any ink sacs. I do. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so, well, actually, I only need one of those. And it was the ink sac, redstone, which is over here. And glass, which I have right here. Now, the fun part about the void pipe is that anything that goes through it is instantly deleted. It's sent into the void, which is essentially deleted. So, since I don't want any excess slime balls, since I already have plenty, and if I ever need more, all I have to do is stop this from functioning in its way, I'm going to go... I filled this part in, so I can't jump in there. We're going to go down the access tube. We're going to try to fall down the access tube. If I didn't want to fall down it, I'd fall down it all day long. When I would want to go into it, well, you know how that works. So let's see. Filling this in, and I just filled in where I needed to go, didn't I? Sure did. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, so we're going to break this this gold transport pipe. We're going to replace it with a diamond transport pipe. And then we're going to create the void pipe here. So, we're going to tell this that any items that come through here, I need to quit doing that. And I didn't bring any slime balls with me because, again, that would be too smart. So we need to go in. There's no slime balls here either. You've got to be kidding me. How about right here? Thank God, slime balls. Okay. So when we go down here, we're going to tell the diamond transport pipe that the blue section goes all slime balls. Okay, as you can see, the blue section leads to the void pipe, so any slime balls will be deleted and other stuff will be kept because we don't want slime balls, but we do want the other stuff that comes out. So I also connected this grinder that's going to grind up our wither skeletons also into this as well. So, let's see. Actually, I should probably change this and show that... No, yellow, sorry. That the yellow pipe only gets cobblestone. That way stuff coming out from the other doesn't try to go down this way either. And then green, well, let's put green gets cobblestone as well. That way it doesn't try to accidentally put anything into that spawner. So, now when we get things started up, which we are going to start up here in just a second, this should get everything functioning and working as intended. Let me just fill some of this in. And we're going to go flip a switch and see how it works out. If I have to come back in here, I'll have to dig it back out. That'll be annoying, but it's better than having a bunch of mobs spawn down here when they really don't need to be. Whoops. Okay, so now we're going to hook this up. We're going to put a couple of these here, here, and here. Okay, so I'm going to put this block right here along with this lever. And then we're going to place this here. Now we want to change this so that it is enabled low. Now, as you'll see, it's draining energy. But when I flip this switch, it will stop draining energy. So now I have a way of turning this on and off if I want to. But for now, we're just going to turn it on. So we're going to take a look over here. And looky there, we've got slime spawning, slimes dying, mob essence being generated, and now, in theory, this isn't doing anything yet because I haven't actually turned it on yet. But we can see here that we actually have mob essence flowing in and directly back out. Now, the reason it's flowing directly back out is because it has to fill the ender tank down here and then fill up this pipe as well. So we're just going to let this run for a minute as it's filling things up. And did I just jump into the mob for the... No, I didn't. So why are we seeing mob essence flowing right there? There shouldn't be anything right there. Okay, I don't know why it came up this way. Oh, I do know why. Okay, I'll have to go back down in there and put an iron waterproof pipe because the mob essence is trying to come back up this way, and we'll have to make it so it can only go a certain direction once it reaches a certain point down there. I'll go back in and do all that and fix that off camera. But for now, we should be getting somewhere. Really? Come on. Oh, just get chopped up already. Alrighty, that's working out nicely. That's staying full. The mob grinder is staying empty because it's out filling this. And so far, we are functioning. This should have nothing in it. This should be full still. I'm not going to turn this on. I can turn this on. Well, actually, you know, I am going to turn it on, just because. Alright, so now that we have that on, it spawned the Wither Skeleton, exactly as I intended. Now, here in just a second, the grinder is going to go ahead and take him out. Good grinder. Now, the grinder is also going to pick up the extra stuff that they have, and that guy has a police box on his head. Now, eventually, when we get soul shards going, we're going to come in here and we're going to make a Wither Skeleton soul shard, so this won't be necessary. Soul shards don't require power to run, so we're going to do that way. For now, we're getting some bones. There's some coal, that's nice. But you notice we don't have any slime balls because they are getting deleted. Because I don't want to have to deal with them. And therefore, I'm not gonna. Alrighty, once these guys die, I'm going to sneak down there and get my hands on that Wither Skeleton spawner and stop it from spawning anymore until we actually get a decent amount of mob essence stored up. So, between this episode and next, because we are out of time, I'm going to let this run and hopefully, God willing, I will actually start to fill up my steel tank and we'll start seeing essence stored here instead of it just flowing through. The fact that, oh, see, no. I don't know why it's doing that. We're going to see what we can do about fixing that so it actually fills up correctly. I'm going to go down in here, redirect a couple pipes, change a couple things up so that we'll actually get the mob essence being stored as it's supposed to. And when we come back next episode, hopefully we will have some in here and we'll be able to see everything functioning in the way that we want it to. And once we get that done, hopefully we'll be able to turn this on, we'll be able to generate a whole bunch of coal, and by generating that coal, we'll start a steam boiler going and upgrade our power to steam-powered power. Until next time, this is Jarenitis signing off on episode 13, and remember, help spread the gaming.